Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Formula Schizo Podcast. This episode is entitled, Is Alonso the Next Pope? Joined today is a shorter roster of co-hosts. It's Finn, the German one.
Hello. This is my third mic in as many episodes. Hope this one is gonna stick.
The next up is Sherry, the Northerner.
Hello, I've been allowed back, unlike some people.
And
Finally.
last up we have... Oh, you're actually gonna remember him?
Yes.
God!
Finally, it's the mentally deranged one that refuses to speak. It's Vyro.
Mentally deranged.
To put a quick, like little story in here. The other day, like yesterday, for the first time ever, Vyro had his camera on, and he still would not
Is he
talk.
swole?
Vyro looks pretty good, in my opinion. Nice
But
looking
the
bloke.
problem I have is he uses his mic in repo,
You
but he
heard
doesn't
that,
use it in the
Vyro?
server. I don't get
Yeah,
it.
he does.
How is Virus alive?
TikTok.
TikTok! What TikTok giving it?
Anyway, today we have a lot of things to talk about.
And my name's Widow, and I'm your host. Let's get this show on the road. As many of you may know, some of you might not, the Pope died on Easter Sunday, which is ironic, I think, because wasn't Jesus resurrected on Easter?
Yes, that's what I kept saying. He's doing it wrong. You're supposed to come back.
And he kicked the can on the wrong day.
As Virus said, the Pope withered away. Yeah, one day earlier it would have been fine.
He could die. Before he died as well, like just before.
It predicted it
He
perfectly.
predicted it, yeah. So that means that
It did.
Alonso's gonna win the championship. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that means.
Vyro just went, holy fuck!
It's real.
It is Illuminati confirmed. History does repeat itself.
I don't pretend to know Fernando on a one-to-one, first name basis. However, I can imagine, seeing as he's Spanish, he was a baptized Catholic,
Yes.
which means, technically speaking, he is eligible to be the next pope.
If he becomes a cardinal, yes, he would be. Dude.
I swear you only have to be baptized Catholic to be eligible to be pope.
Something like that, yeah, but dude, imagine Cardinal World Champion rookie Pope. First ever rookie Pope. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, first ever Pope driving a Formula 1 car?
No, because the old pope had an F1 car. I don't know whether he ever drove it, but he was gifted an F1 car by Ferrari.
Signing one. He signed a
I
card,
saw
didn't
him sign a Lambo.
he? Yeah, you get that picture up. We need to pay our respects.
I want a
Yeah.
pimp fucking Pope-mobile. Get it on an episode of Pimp My Ride.
So we have the Pope
The
signing
Holy Whip.
a Lamborghini,
Lamborghini.
A Lamborghini.
I believe, yeah.
There he is.
Oh, this is a meme.
Yeah, definitely. He's really good at drawing, isn't he?
There's the original picture.
There it
Holy
is.
rollers. Wow.
Holy rollers, Pope-mobiles and cars.
What did he actually sign on it, though?
His name?
Probably just his. Wait, is this all of his... This is... What?
This is garage.
Is this his car collection?
Oh, Lincoln Continental. Oh,
No, this is just... Yeah,
there
it's
it is.
you.
There's the gangster Pope-mobile. Next
So
to
that's
it,
a
on the left.
Hyundai,
It's
that's a
Hyundai, yeah.
Fiat.
Underneath it. You're going past the Pope-mobile, you dick.
Where's the Pope-mobile? This one?
Yeah, that's the Pope-mobile.
Yeah.
Oh
with
my
the
God, it's a
bulletproof glass and
Pope-mobile.
stuff.
Yeah. Bulletproof glass in front, but fuck the sides. Let him get shot
It
through
looks
the
like a
sides.
fucking boat.
It's a G-Wagon in it.
Wait,
Yeah,
Vyro
it's
just
like-
brought something up. Car Pope exists.
Oh, I've got another Instagram reel.
Send it over. Hey, this is my friend. He's the European bowling champion.
I don't care. Pope-mobile.
I know.
So you don't care? That's so mean.
There's a car version of the Catholic Pope, which means that there's a whole car Christianity, which means that there was a car savior who died for their sins, Jesus Christ. Which means that when Martin Luther nailed his thesis for a better system onto a car door, he forever split the religions into car Protestantism and car Catholicism. Which means that there's a car version of the Protestant Catholic struggles up in Belfast. The car troubles.
Up the raw, Nigel.
Up the road.
Why does this go so hard?
Up the car.
Up the car
Why
road.
does this go so hard?
Full version Cars Garage now on Spotify.
Hell yeah.
I feel like this should be the
Come out
intro
in
song.
black and tan.
Okay.
Black
Okay.
and Bans.
There's a Car Milton in Cars universe. There is no. Okay, so little Cars 2 fact. In Cars 2, I think Finn McMissile, which I loved as a kid because his name was Finn and he was a spy that had rockets. There was, depending on your version, there was a different F1 driver voicing a character. In German, it was
Yeah.
Sebastian Vettel. In Spanish, it was Fernando Alonso. In English, it's Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton, yeah.
Is it Cars 2 or Cars 3, Vyro?
He's in both.
We should
I
watch this
know that
video as well. I love
No,
react
no, he's
content.
just in both. In Cars 2, he just plays himself as a race car. But in Cars 3, Lewis Hamilton's
love
the
that.
voice.
Yeah,
he's
look, Sebastian Schnell, there he is.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but he's in both. In Cars 3, he plays the AI voice thing on their GPS. or whatever.
Right. Oh, it's him. Why did they make Lewis Hamilton French?
Black.
I like how they still got his tooth gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
No, there's like a compilation of all of the drivers.
There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, what about Hamilton?
Hamilton here.
Who's
Yeah.
Hamilton?
Oh, ich hab Sebastian vergessen.
Sebastian hier.
Wer ist Sebastian?
Oh, chi sarebbe Vettel?
Sono Vettel.
Chi è
Oh, Vettel was in.
E Fernando Alonso?
Aquí Fernando.
¿Quién es Fernando Alonso?
Oh, what about Hamilton?
Hamilton here.
Who's Hamilton?
Oh, ich hab Sebastian vergessen.
Sebastian hier.
Wer ist Sebastian?
Oh, chi sarebbe Vettel?
Sono
Okay,
Vettel.
so in English it's last name, in German it's first name, in Italian it's last name, and then in Spanish it's first and last name.
Give Fernando Alonso.
Aquí Fernando.
Fernando.
Fernando Alonso. Okay.
So formal.
There's
Say the Pope.
Sebastian,
Say, what
yeah,
about
you
the
gotta
Pope?
be.
Yeah,
Gotta be
he's the
formal
Pope.
To be the Pope.
which was a perfect way to come back to our topic. Pope is dead. Rest in pieces. Peace.
Rest in pieces, for fuck's sake.
Rest in piss.
Oh no.
He probably died in his piss. Oh, we cut that out. Cut that out.
He probably shot himself when he died.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's it, you
Rest
lose
in
control of
peace.
your bowels, so
Released,
you just
fucking-
shit yourself.
Jesus.
Of course you do.
Oh my god. So
Rest in piss, shout out
Holy
to his
shit.
family. Shout out to the Pope.
Holy shit.
Oh, it is holy shit! It's the holiest of shit. Every time the Pope goes to the toilet, it's a holy shit. My world was just blown wide open.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is gonna be a long episode. Right, do we want to get on to the F1 business?
Yeah, we've got that out of the way. Let's
Yeah,
move on
right.
to
We've
the
talked about the
actual-
Pope kicking the can. Let's get to
Right,
Formula 1.
so
Alright.
when is your haircut, Widow?
In a bit, it's fine.
Right, so Jeddah happened.
It did indeed. And it was actually quite an entertaining race this time.
Yeah. So, okay, quickly going over what happened. Free practice, nothing much happened except for, of course, Bortoletto having a fuel leak in FP1 and not taking place in FP2.
Change of chassis too.
Yeah. Sainz completely moaning about his old team.
Sonoda fucking it into the wall.
Yeah. Tsunoda, when was that? Was that FP2? Yeah, that was FP2.
Yeah.
Tsunoda on the last on the last 10 minutes of the session, Tsunoda clipping the inner wall of turn 27 with front left braking front suspension and smashing it into exit wall of 27, causing a red flag. And he has front wing and front suspension damage. See, this is the research that we have at our disposal now.
We are
I didn't
professionals.
see FP3 live when he went into the wall, but
No, it was FP2.
oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
he
see-
just
okay,
he
that
was trying to tighten his line through the final corner, cut back, late apex, and he
Yeah.
just clouted the wall. And
I watched
he,
Yeah.
the
he was a
replay
passenger.
on
Yeah.
Sunday.
A lot of overtakes, a lot of controversy. Norris topping FP1, FP2, Gasly bizarrely topping FP1. Didn't you bet on Gasly topping FP3, Sherry?
Yeah.
Well, I do think FP1 was just a glory run, I'll be honest. I don't think
It
it was
was.
the car's true pace.
Of course. I mean, we don't know because Gasly, well, not getting ahead of ourselves, but right, quickly going to qualifying.
I'll let you cut that out.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Quickly
I'm
going
cutting
into
all this
qualifying.
out. I've not got anything so far.
Yeah, we're just not doing this now. We're just taking
The
bits.
entire podcast is just gonna be us. It's just gonna be the holy shit jokes. just the Pope slander, nothing else.
Yeah.
What did the Pope ever actually do? I'm sorry.
This one was pretty good. He said
That's what
that
I
gays
asked when
were
he
okay.
died.
So
No,
this Pope
am I
actually
supposed to be sad that the Pope's dead? Or...
No,
I guess so.
he did. Yeah, but he said a lot, but he did absolutely nothing. Like he said many things, but he didn't actually bring any.
That's a whole lot
He's
of
a keyboard
words.
warrior.
Too bad I'm not reading them.
Exactly. Viro, I don't think we can show any clips of the crash because we will get copyright claimed into heaven and back.
Why don't you just
Nah.
edit them?
I'll
like,
play
yeah.
some funky music over the top. We can show
Yeah,
the
but you have like play it like reverse, well not reverse, but like flip it.
reverse.
Do you
Flip
actually
it.
want to try?
So like the
Yeah.
final corner's right, not left.
Sure. Okay. Here's the crash.
I'll play like
This
some
is not
calm
copyright.
music.
This is not copyright. This is not copyright. This is not copyright. This is not.
We are
copyright.
doing
This is not
monetary
copyright.
work.
This is not
Oh, and he
copyright.
fucked
This
it.
is not
Oh,
copyright.
look at
This is
him.
not copyright.
Putta la
This is not
sospensione.
Audio jungle.
Right. Qualifying. In Q1, we had going out Stroll doing my goat Hülkenberg, Ocon and
L.
Bortoletto.
L.
Yeah, and Ocon, I think didn't somebody spin?
Bortoletto had a spin at turn 1, yes.
Quality.
Yeah,
On
and
his
Stroll.
final push lap, he just carried too much speed into turn 1 and the rears couldn't live with it, and around she went.
I think Stroll also spawned an FP3 according
All
to
of
Vero.
which can be read and discovered on heroicsintosandoval.com.
What's
Nice
that?
cross
Tell us about
promotion.
it.
Yeah, exactly. What is it? Is it like a fun blog site?
Heroicsintosandoval is a great, very, very fun, very great blog site.
Great,
Written
very,
by
very fun. Great.
somebody called In the Barrier. I don't know who that might be.
Ah.
I
don't
don't know
know.
either, but I
he
think
seems to know what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's
I
writing.
think
I'll
I've
be
heard
thinking
them. I think I've heard them like help with some epic driver ratings by a person named Nico.
What the fuck kind of name is Nico?
which-
Who the hell's Nico?
Yeah, it's like fucking like sounds like
gay name.
sounds like
Yeah,
sounds
this
like
guy
an
sounds
OC.
gay as hell.
Yeah, sounds like an OC some gay kid made up in like 2015, 2016, 2015.
You got something you want to tell us, Finn?
Incoming out stream.
Hey!
I'm out of all of the closets already.
Yeah.
Not mine, you know.
And we can change that.
No, we can't.
Hey,
Hey, Silverstone's going to be fun, eh?
Oh, it is. If this is the dynamic,
I'm
Spider-Man.
gonna end up trying to run in front of a car.
What the- What the
No,
fuck?
Sherry's just going to get tired of mine and Finn's bullshit and just leave us to it.
Me and August will just go and do
Yeah.
our own thing, I
Yeah,
think.
you and Mogus are just going to go and smoke
No,
weed
I
at the
think
grandstand or something.
no. I want to smoke weed,
Me and Finn,
I wanna
like,
smoke
sharing
the
a
weed.
pizza. Like,
dude. I swear
Lady in
it's
the Tramp.
probably gonna be Mogus.
spaghetti, yeah.
It's probably gonna be Mogus who's gonna end up being just like so sick of the trio of us being like, oh fucking hell. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll see.
Back to qualifying.
Q2.
Q2. So
We
this is all on
have-
you, because I've not got any qualifying notes. I didn't watch it live.
This is all on
Nice.
Viro. We had a couple of fun. He's already sick of us. That's true. Viro, Mogus is already sick of us. We had, which I find pretty interesting, a gap of 1.167 seconds in Q2 between P15 and P1, which is not a big gap. If you ever play Truckmania, that is not a big gap because it's visualized very well there. If you're fighting a ghost, that's like about the speed. Yeah, Trackmania, fucking love that game. I need to play that later. Going out in Q2, we have Alex Albon, Liam Lawson, who beat Isaac Hatcher, who also went out. Alonso
first
went
time
out,
for
and
everything.
Behrman went out. Yeah, first time I think that he beat him. This didn't really matter in the long run. And lastly, in Q3, we had Oscar Piastri going out, setting a nice lap, and then boom!
Fuck my championship.
Lando Norris
Bottles it.
into the fucking wall.
It just beggars
Boom,
belief,
boom.
I'll be honest.
Dude. Oh, it
Voice
was...
chat was so entertaining when this was happening. We
Oh
were all
my
making
God.
monkey noises.
Yeah. it was
It was fantastic.
we lost it. I screamed and I was my door was open. Like the door like the fucking door out to the yard. And my neighbors like a block down that I went to play table tennis with later, asked me, Finn, what were you watching that made you scream so much? And I was like, oops. My entire neighborhood heard that.
Why were you making monkey noises?
I didn't make the monkey noise, I just screamed. Here's the crash. And now we see
Not
Lando
copyright,
Norris
not
going around the corner,
copyright,
and
not
he's
copyright,
going
not
around another corner.
copyright.
Oh!
See, this is
That's a
this
lot
is
of damage.
Lando's
That's a lot of
second
damage.
year of
Yeah.
attempting to challenge for the title, and he's
Yep.
still not ironing out these mistakes.
No, he's not. And then you have his fucking... It's Oscar's third ever season. He started in a car that was absolute shit in 2023 in Bahrain.
Yep.
The car got gradually better over the season, so he got used to a better car. For everybody who's saying, yeah, but Lando wasn't a bad car. Oscar was too when he joined McLaren.
And they both
And
got a race-winning car at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes. If anything, Lando had way more experience driving Formula 1 cars.
He just always finds a way to fuck it up. Always.
Always.
He does, yeah. And then,
He's done himself over. Big time.
yeah, he really has.
I'd also like to point out that every Q session was topped by Max Verstappen.
Oh, I think
Finished
he
every
was,
session P1. That's my goat.
yeah. I think I like as we have seen in the vid, it was he just fucking
Fucked
crashed
it.
it. Yeah, he just
Just
absolutely
threw it in the hedge, decided he'd had enough.
Yeah.
He wanted an
to
early
go home.
bath.
Yeah, he did. Right, and then after the session was cleared up, we had some more racing, and then it was one of the Max Verstappen. As much as I don't like Max Verstappen, because he just kept winning. It's the only reason I don't like. I don't like Max Verstappen winning. I
You
don't
don't
not like Max
successful
Verstappen.
people.
No. I said that
Eat the
wrong.
rich.
I got
They're
Eat
all
them.
rich.
I got bored of Max Verstappen domination, and then yeah. And then when Norris gets a bad corner entry, took too much throttle, fucks it into the wall, what does Max Verstappen do in the end of the qualifying session?
Slams
Like he did
his
in Japan.
cock on the table and says, "Look at me. I'm Oscar's rival now."
Look at me.
Yeah, I bet Sherry has seen people do that many times.
What?
What, slamming their cocks on tables? What kind of
Probably.
parties do you go to on Friday, Sherry?
I've not even fucking said anything. I'm just being accused of doing stuff that I've not done.
I just wanted to get you back into the conversation. I thought that was the best way.
What, by saying that I'm some kind of fucking degenerate? I don't
I
understand.
mean, you are.
Yeah, you are. Right.
My parents watch this podcast. They can't know that.
The secret's out. Sherry goes to gangbangs on Friday nights with at least 8
Dogging.
Where the fuck do you think you and Sherry aren't going to
Goes
British
dogging.
touring cars at all?
No.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
no,
what's
no
happening.
she's not coming for touring cars at all.
No. Oh. Anyway,
Back to business.
Max Verstappen go as fast as by 1/100th of a second. 100th.
That's my goat right there. It was an insane lap though.
It was.
But nobody was improving in the middle sector for whatever reason. Nobody set a green middle sector. Nobody set a green middle sector at the end of the session. It was all yellow.
And it was all yellow.
And it was, as Viro just said,
Right, that's it. We've been copyrighted now.
right. No, you sung it so
Yeah,
badly. We're
yeah.
fine.
They won't know.
That's like if I would sing something, it also wouldn't get picked up.
Just a finger.
Flipping the bird.
Love you. Anyway, Viro said as well, Oscar Piastri with his fastest lap of 1:27.545 set a new lap record, and then Max Verstappen comes in and takes that lap record.
Wait, did George Russell
No,
set a lap
not
record
Q2, sorry.
first?
Um,
Because it was George
Right.
Russell went to top, and then
George
Piastri
Russell-
pipped him, and then Max pipped him.
yeah, George Russell got pipped by Piastri by a bit over a tenth, and then Max comes up and sets the first ever 27.2 in the history of the circuit.
Yeah.
Russell did. The record
Max
before that was a
Verstappen,
0.3,
do, 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 do.
0.43. No,
Yeah, but George
No,
missed
no,
a
Viro.
P3. Nobody cares about him.
Look, Viro. According to this timesheet, Russell's time was 0.407. Is this the first time our research guy?
No, that'll just be
Anyway.
his fastest lap in Q3.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, but we're talking about if there was a lap record broken 3 times, but apparently not. Anyway, moving on. Starting grid, Max Verstappen in front of Piastri, in front of P3 merchant George Russell, in front of Charles Leclerc for Ferrari, and then we have Kimi Antonelli,
effort
Carlos
by him,
Sainz. Really good effort. Lewis Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda, 8th place. Then
Not
Lando
bad.
Norris, Pierre fucking Gasly, back-to-back Q3s.
Good stuff.
Still don't make it to the top 3 though, did he? That's all he had to do for my bet.
Ah.
Cunt.
No, that was
You
fucking
sounded
free,
like
that was
me
free
at
practice.
the Australian Grand Prix. All I needed
Oh,
was
yeah,
Lewis
you did.
Hamilton
You
in
were-
the top 6 by the end.
That's
You were
not
so
what I mean.
pissed. You
I
were
had-
so pissed.
I had 2 bets, 5 on each. One of them was for, what was it? Lando to win, Lando to lead after lap 10 or something, and Lando to set the fastest lap. And I got that.
Never bet on Lando.
And then I got that one. Then the next
Oh.
one was Lando to win, Max on the podium, and Lewis in the top 6 or something like that.
Oh.
And the only thing I missed was Lewis in the top 6. So as far as
And
I'm
didn't
concerned,
he end up like 8th?
Yeah.
No,
as
he
far
ended
as far as I'm concerned, Lewis Hamilton owes me 40 quid.
Should tweet it.
Fucking hell. Yeah, you should.
At Lewis
You-
Hamilton,
you
where's my
should.
40 quid?
You should be one of those people who are in his Instagram comments.
Or like in Elon Musk's Twitter comments, like, "Oh, Elon, save me, Elon." And you
At
bet
Elon,
for it.
can you ban Lewis, please? He owes me 40 quid.
He probably would because he's black.
I wasn't going to go there.
I did. Give me the money.
Anyway,
Right.
right. To the race.
Races. Right. This is where.
Calling a racist.
What?
You said racist.
No, to the race. It is.
I'm a racist. I love F1.
Alright, for the 2025 STC Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, what were the projected strategies? Finster.
The perfected strategies were that we had only one-stop strategies so far. We had either you start on the mediums, your pit window is around lap 16 to 22, and then you go into the hards. Most of the people did that. You had Lando Norris, I believe, went the opposite way of going hards.
It was Norris, Hadjar, Stroll, and Hulkenberg went hard on the start.
And hards, you pit around lap 28 to 34, which is, in my opinion, not that much longer than, like, only 6 laps longer than the medium runners. And
Yeah, but it's the alternate strategy. It's not meant to be much
It is.
faster, but it's just meant to get you through traffic.
it is. And then you go onto the mediums. And there were some shite with 2 stops on, like, hard, saw. Or starting with soft, but nobody did that.
Okay, so we had 5 red lights. The lights went out. Piastri gets a great start. Verstappen barrels into turn 1 with him. They were side by side, going through turn 1.
The Verstappen
Piastri
Yeah.
slams the door shut while Max is alongside him, barely makes the corner himself, and Max takes to the runoff and tries to piss off into the distance.
Special. Yep.
Exactly.
Well,
I
he
want
did.
Yeah.
He fucking
I
went.
want opinions. Max Verstappen ended up getting a 5-second penalty for this. Deserved or not? Starting
I
with
don't
you.
think it was deserved, no.
No.
Interesting. Sherry?
Purely because Christian Horner was going around after the race showing a printout of Max being ahead
Yeah, I
of
saw
the apex,
that.
which
I
was
thought he
weird,
did.
really weird on his part. But the fact of the matter is, Verstappen was significantly alongside Piastri, and the rule is whoever gets to the apex first is their corner, and they can push the other driver off, which is bullshit. Such a shit rule. That's not how anybody should go racing, which is why I think touring cars is better. But anyway, I digress. Piastri barely makes the corner himself. His left side 2 tyres are on the white line. You know, at no point should a driver be at that point. That's not the racing line. Piastri knew full well what he was doing in pushing Max off.
Yeah. Someone made the argument of, like, would Oscar have done the same thing if there was a wall there instead of, like, a runoff?
No.
And the answer is no. So he
No,
did it
because Max would have
semi-intentionally.
come off the wall and collected Piastri.
Yeah.
He knew
Right.
full well what he was playing at.
Here is where I think you're wrong, Widow. Which
Fuck you. I'm never wrong.
Fuck you.
first of all, I want to specify that this is coming from the person in the Red Bull jersey, but and also
It's
to
the
be
person in the
completely
Red Bull
fair with
jersey that
me,
loves racing.
yes,
And
but
you
to
don't like
be
Max. You just said that. So you're biased.
I'm a Piastri fan, and McLaren fan, and I dislike Max winning.
Bias is
But-
coming out
Biased.
now.
But here's the but: Max,
Where's
if
the
you
but?
watch Max's onboard, he was never, no matter what, making that corner. And in the rules, that is what the important bit is. Oscar Piastri stayed in control of his car. He stayed on the
Barely.
track,
Barely.
and he did.
Really.
But he did.
Fucking barely.
Watch
He
the
knew
replay,
full
please.
well what he was doing.
And
Put that replay on.
And the
But-
shit that Christian showed was not actually the thing. It was
The thing
he
that
was
Christian
showing-
showed was not actually the thing.
yeah, it wasn't actually the thing in question. It wasn't taken at a proper point. There's a really good video on this by FP1 Will, who actually somehow did a technical analysis for once instead of just slagging off McLaren fans, which I love, by the way. Fucking love that guy. Great videos. But there is a video of that. It was, according to the rules, how they're written down, it was always Piastri's corner. Max was never making the corner. He was still trying to turn when he was already on the grass, on the runoff. And it's a tactic that he has been, like, that has been actually ruled consistently. There was a similar incident in 2021. There are notes. Hold up. Piastri getting aggressive head onto turn 1.
See, but like I say,
Did you just
it's
skip past that because it was biased?
It's
No,
a fucking-
I'm trying to see if it's... I'm trying...
It's a really
yeah, we can watch it.
stupid rule. It should never be, oh, I've got to the apex first, therefore I can just shove the other guy off the track. You know, we saw that in Kota in 24. Max gets off the brake, gets to the apex first, pushes himself and Lando off, and Lando gets a penalty for overtaking off the track.
Sherry, could you switch over to Viro's stream?
It should
Just so we...
It should always be, you must leave space, you must leave racing room for another car, regardless of
It should. Wait,
if they're
wait, wait.
alongside you in any way, you should leave space.
Viro, hold up. First of all, I agree, but that is not how the rules are written because the rules are stupid, as we agreed. Go into Viro's stream. Yeah, yes, they should. That's how they should be written. Completely agree. Go to Viro's stream real quick. We're gonna watch the onboard. We be watching
Ready.
2 onboards. First, Max.
We've got all the time in the world, my mate.
Ready,
I've
ready or
got
not?
it.
Here I come.
And it's lights out and away we
Out
go.
and away we go.
Great
Wow,
start.
what a start!
But at that point, Max is
there
ahead.
and see Max was still trying to turn in when he was going over there. He was never making that corner.
Can we play that at half speed, please? Is that
course, Sherry.
possible? Enhance?
Enhance. And it's lights out and away we go.
I wasn't gonna make the same joke. I wasn't gonna make it true again. Wow, Jesus, that was already okay. So here,
Verstappen
Oscar
ahead.
is a no. Oscar's
No,
ahead.
Verstappen
This
is
is not the
literally
apex.
ahead there.
This is not the apex.
Yeah,
the
but
corner.
Verstappen's still ahead.
No, but this is not the apex.
I know it's
At
not,
the
but
apex,
Verstappen's still
Piastri
ahead.
is ahead. But at the apex, Oscar's ahead.
No, don't restart it.
No, not again. Oh, he didn't do
Lights
it.
out and away we
No,
go!
I wasn't going to make the same joke 3 times.
Right. So, Piastri was ahead at the apex there, which is
Yeah.
But at that point, Piastri's trajectory is going off as well. Because he has to
No.
brake more.
yeah, but he made the corner.
They both overshot the corner, and Piastri didn't give him any room.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
is true, but Max wasn't entitled to room.
But he should have been.
Why?
Because he was alongside.
Because the rules don't say that
Play it
he
again.
that the rules
Verstappen's
don't say that he was
more.
entitled to room.
We're gonna get to the
more
bottom
than
of this.
alongside. Therefore, he's entitled to racing
I'm
room.
pulling up the video that I had. I wanted. Max is forcing Oscar inside more, says Viro. Go.
Because Verstappen comes straight across.
It's lights out and away we go! Sorry.
He's coming across, squeezing Piastri to the inside.
So
Verstappen then
Piastri's
goes to the
there.
outside.
There, Piastri was ahead. Then Oscar makes it. Max barrels along and decides to take the 5-second penalty.
But I'd like to point out that when Piastri's in turn 2, there is no way he was getting through that corner cleanly. You know, he loses a lot of time. But
that
Verstappen-
doesn't matter.
But, no, I'm not done. Fucking German prick. I'm not done. Verstappen does not piss off into the distance at that point. Verstappen's not taking loads of time out of Piastri there. You know, you look at Abu Dhabi 21, where Lewis went off at what turn 6. Hamilton went off in the chicane at turn 6 and checked out completely. Lewis took all the advantage he could out of going off there. Max doesn't here.
Play it again.
But it doesn't
Watch.
matter.
Yeah, play it again.
The way
watch
that,
it.
it might be
Just play it
stupid,
again
but the
and watch
way
it.
that the rules are laid out, this
Play it
penalty
again and
was
watch it.
deserved.
Play it
Yeah,
again
but
and
the
watch
rules
it.
are being exploited. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
I don't fucking care.
As
Well,
long
get
as
off the
your driver
podcast then.
wins, right?
No,
Yeah,
no.
get off the podcast. I'm going to disconnect.
No,
it now.
even if it was Max, who did it this way, which he's done in the last year plenty of times, as long as the rules are followed, we can still complain because the rules are being written in a stupid way, but the drivers can't complain, and Max complained a lot about it.
Yeah, because he wasn't given space.
Yeah, but he wasn't entitled to space.
Yes, he was. He
Which
was alongside you, Mel.
No, he was not. Oscar was
What do you
reading
mean
the
he's
documents
not
of the
alongside?
fucking stewards.
What do you mean Verstappen's not alongside?
Oscar was in front. Oscar was ahead of the apex. It was Oscar's corner. Therefore, Oscar was entitled
he
to
could be ahead
racing
of the
room.
apex, but Max can still be alongside. Look, Max is there.
Yeah, but in this situation, Max would only be entitled to room if it was his corner. If it is not his corner, it's Oscar who is entitled to room.
Okay, so now let's play this again, but let's put a concrete wall on that white line, and let's see if
Yeah.
Piastri
it's
would
not
still
happening.
run as deep.
No, but Max wouldn't.
Exactly.
Max would have just braked earlier.
But so would a Piastri, and they both would have made the corner.
But if you put it at the white line, you can't put it at the white line. You have to put it.
Okay,
So
put
far
it 2
back-
feet behind the white line.
Yeah, so,
But they'd still
so-
both brake early and make the corner.
Yeah, but then you're talking about a different race layout.
Me
Point
not.
is,
You
that
just put a new
corner,
wall in.
They've exploited the characteristic of the track and the fact that there is no wall there on the outside of that corner.
Sure,
And he knows that he's just going to drive over it and get a penalty. So that's exactly what happened, in my opinion.
Yes, he
I
knows
love
exactly
Oscar.
what happened. Like,
But he's wrong. He shouldn't have done that.
no, he definitely should have. He was in all of his right to do so. Max has done this shit so many times.
Oh yeah,
So
but it
many
doesn't mean-
times.
Even still, it doesn't mean that means that he just gets to do it back.
Well, it
You know what I
means
mean?
that Max shouldn't be pissed off about it being used against him when he used it without being reprimanded, and now it's being used against him, and now he and Red Bull are whining. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm having
now,
the
even
problem
you
with.
saying that, you're acknowledging that there is an exploit.
There is an exploit. I'm
So,
not
yeah.
saying
So the
saying
rules
that
need
there
to
isn't
be
an
rewritten.
exploit. Yes,
The best
We're in
form
agreement
the
there.
rules could be is if
Give
there is a
racing
car
room.
alongside you, there has to be racing room given.
yes,
That's what
we
British
are in
touring
complete-
cars do. That's why British touring cars is the best racing series in the world.
I have never seen it, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
I say they're streaming it live on YouTube this year. But British touring cars, DTM. What DTM used to be is what British touring cars still is. Bunch of souped up road cars, just door banging every corner.
We-
That sounds awesome.
And Sherry's
I'm-
coming down to Donington Park to watch it this weekend. Did you know?
And I'm going to fucking watch the live stream on it to get Viro. Max is forcing Oscar inside to basically Oscar would kiss the wall of the two, and Oscar doesn't pussy out as Max would have expected. And then look at the apex. Oscar just isn't a pussy as Norris was in Austria. Well said. Right. To clarify my standpoint on this, and then we're moving on because this is literally the first corner of the first lap.
Yeah, we'll move on. Agree to
Um,
disagree and move on.
no, but I'm most in agreement with you. There's an exploit. It shouldn't be this way. But within the rules that we have right now, the penalty for Max was deserved. It was within the rules. Maybe we have a different definition of deserved. And would have just left. Would have walked out. Right. Moving on. Right in the first lap, wasn't there?
Yes, there was indeed.
So, in turn 4, Tsunoda and Gasly had a collision, resulting in a red flag on... In a red flag?
Yep.
On lap 1. I don't remember there being a red flag.
There was a red flag. Was there? No, there wasn't a red flag.
No, I don't
It was
remember
a
there being.
safety car.
It was a safety car. No, there definitely wasn't a red flag.
It might have been
So-
for a second. I don't know.
It's in the notes, so it must have happened. No, maybe no. People said there would be a red flag, like the drivers on the radio said there should be a red flag,
Yeah, there
But
should have
there-
been a red flag, but there
Yeah.
wasn't.
and there was a yellow. So we're correcting that. Doesn't matter. This is 21 pages. You got to be wrong at one point. So a safety car comes out. Same thing as we did now. I hope it's not going to be as long. In my opinion, it was a racing incident. Do you guys think so too, or do you think somebody was in the wrong?
Well, let's watch the replay. Fyro, have you got it?
There we go. And then boom, synchronized spinning. Boop. Can we get a cam on Tsunoda? I think I think yeah.
So yeah, I think the consensus was that it was Tsunoda's fault, wasn't it? I kind of remember.
I think it was a racing incident.
Oh, okay.
Tsunoda would have been more at fault if it wasn't turn 1, lap 1, or like lap 1 incident.
Go back 10 seconds.
We have a problem.
Conductor.
Widow has to go soon, so we'll do.
No. I've got 15-20 minutes. Then I'll be gone for 10, and then I'll be back.
Okay, that makes sense. Right. We're currently talking about the crash.
Racing incident.
In my opinion as well.
Shit happens. It's a tight track. They're all fighting for the same bit of tarmac.
First lap.
Yeah.
So Gasly is here alongside Tsunoda. Tsunoda
Pulls ahead.
kind of
It's
pulls
audacious. It's audacious by Gasly to try and get through there again. But
yeah, and then
Gasly leaves plenty of space. Tsunoda sort of just understeers into him. But
Yeah.
it's always going to happen. It's happened at the same corner years gone. You know, it's
to read out the note, Tsunoda being relatively ahead in the turn 3 to turn 4 straight, slowing down into the turn 4 entry, giving the apex dominance to Gasly. Gasly closing the door hard on Tsunoda, resulting into a racing incident. Gasly crashed and DNF on the spot. Tsunoda limped into the pits, retiring the car due to irreparable damage. So Viro thinks it was a racing incident as well. And Sherry, what do you think?
I mean, I suppose any incident is a racing incident.
Oh, come on.
nice one.
That's such a cop-out. Who's at fault? So who do you think is at fault?
It's hard to say, really. I'd need to look at the clip like 15 more times.
Okay,
Not
we're not
watching the
doing
same
that.
clip
We're not
15
doing that.
times.
We're not doing that.
Blame
We're
Gasly
not-
because he's French, or blame Tsunoda because he's Japanese. One of them's more racist than the other.
Well, I'm going to blame Gasly, obviously, because my bet didn't come through, so...
True.
Fuck Gasly.
She's
Right.
a gambling man.
I'm a gambling man.
Never tell her the odds.
See, I keep learning. The next time I'm going to go through these notes beforehand, and then I'm going to mark out things that I think are particularly interesting.
Okay, up next.
Um,
What we saying?
Wait, Viro said Gasly was ahead, but Tsunoda just couldn't go anywhere. It was mid corner. Right. Up next, then after the safety car comes out, right?
Yep. Not a whole lot happens under the safety car.
No.
Piastri and Max have a bit of a back and forth on the radio with their engineers. Piastri says he needs to give that back. I was ahead. Verstappen says he pushed me off. No intention to met corner. Doohan, Ocon, Bortoletto will pit. Hamilton's up to 6th. Turn 1 incident was noted. Albon was up to 9th, Sainz 7th, and then the safety car came in. Max got a fantastic restart though.
Oh, he did. Oh my god, he
Absolutely
cooked
no intention of giving the
everyone.
position back.
Lawson went off the track in turn 4.
Oh,
Surprise,
I'm
surprise.
just going to butt in very, very briefly. During the F2 feature sprint race, there was an incident that occurred into turn 1.
I did see that.
Leaving a car stranded. The only thing the FIA did was put out double-waved yellows, as about 4 or 5 marshals came onto the track and were pushing
What?
the car straight through the firing line of turn 1. So if one of those cars locked up and went straight on, that was 5 marshals on the ground. And then the virtual safety car came out, like after the cars had made it into turn 1.
Jesus fucking Christ. Thank you,
Anyway,
FIA.
Back to the Formula
Right.
1.
Lawson going off track in turn 4. Then Verstappen got his penalty,
Yes, it
leaving
was,
it mentioned.
Verstappen, well, that is fucking lovely.
Yeah, and
GP,
did he?
No comment, Max.
Yeah,
GP
did he?
interrupted his radio.
Yeah, didn't he? Did he get a reprimand for that, for swearing?
They
I don't think he
they
did.
They don't do it in the race. It's only if they're in like media interviews.
Okay.
Which is good. because that'd
Yeah.
be a load of bollocks.
He got for the critique of the penalty. He did get a reprimand for critiquing the penalty, which I think we'll get on after, but fucking ridiculous.
So up next, I have written down that Verstappen and Piastri were absolutely dropping Russell, like a second a lap almost, just
Yeah.
leaving him in the dust.
Piastri has held the gap of like 0.9 to 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, he was sort of hovering around the 1.4, 1.5 mark.
Go.
The next thing I have down is Verstappen being told he had one strike for track limits from turn 1. And Verstappen said, "I thought they didn't count that. We discussed it in the briefing."
Oh, right, they did say that, and apparently that's what happened to Kimi Antonelli at the last race in Bahrain. Kimi Antonelli had a black and red flag, then went off track limits, but it was deemed that he got pushed off, so it didn't count him.
You're
He didn't
allowed,
get a
you're allowed
penalty.
to go off if it's in avoidance of a car.
Which I think
don't-
Max was avoiding Piastri. I'm
Well,
not
yeah,
gonna lie.
if Max continued to turn in, he would have clouted the side of Piastri and torn a hole in the side pod, and they both would have been out.
Maybe he
Yes.
should have just done it. Took one for the
I
team.
say, I think he should have done it.
No. As a Piastri fan, I don't. We all love Asker.
I'm a Piastri fan. I'm just joking.
I also
I know.
noted that Verstappen was a lot stronger than Piastri through Sector 1. You know, every lap
He was.
he gapped about 3 to 4 tenths through Sector 1.
Verstappen was the fastest driver over the entire race.
But
both of
Piastri
them
pulled back, maybe 2-3 tenths through Sector 2 and 3, which sort of implies lower downforce, less drag kind of setup.
Yeah, and Viro says they had a 6-second gap on lap 8 to Russell.
Yeah, they were absolutely dropping.
There it is. Lap 15 gap is over 6 seconds as well as already.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck. Norris had a pretty amazing.
He had a ding dong with
recovery
Hamilton,
drive.
didn't he?
Did he?
Oh,
he had a
those
ret
back
ding
and
dong with
forth.
Hamilton. Hamilton was
Oh,
absolutely
there it is.
schooling him in DRS
Yeah, he was
games.
playing him.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, right.
Good to see.
Norris blasting for the load attempt, trying to overtake Hamilton for a P6, but Hamilton strikes back in a DRS zone 1, getting back to position he lost on the turn 27 exit. Next lap, Norris is late dive bonding into turn 21 to get that P6, but Hamilton pulls the same DRS advantage in zone 1 and securing P6 for another lap. He got schooled
He was
twice.
absolutely schooling him.
Yeah.
And on
He was just playing
Piastri,
with
on Norris's quote-unquote recovery drive, I don't think it's nearly as good of a recovery as you're making it out to be.
P10 to P4 is still nothing to scoff
But a
at.
recovery drive is when you go from, what was it?
P20.
P14
Talk about Max
in
again.
Brazil.
17,
P14 in
17.
Brazil. up
It
to
was
first.
17 at qualifying, and like by the time qualifying was over, yeah, it was essentially 14.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Lawson-
during the ding dong with Hamilton, Norris was told, "Strat 8, play the game." Well, I think that's them telling Lando to stay behind into turn 27 so he can get the DRS. But Lewis had his fun by then.
Right. We had our first pit stops around lap
Behrman,
20,
lap 18.
lap 18 at Behrman. I have 19 written down here. Who's right?
Well, no,
We don't
because
know.
he boxed on lap 19 because Verstappen was already through. On Behrman's time, it would have said Behrman pits end lap 18. Then Piastri was
Okay.
next lap with a fairly slow stop for what's been the McLaren
Yeah.
crew this year. They've
Yeah.
been pretty on fire with their stops. It was 3.4 seconds.
Mhm.
Antonelli
Yeah.
came in behind him for the hards. Both of them went on hards, by the way. 2.4 for Antonelli. And then something we've not seen in a while. GP, Giampiero Lambiase, was sort of coaching Max through the next few laps. Like, he was getting push Max, push, everything you have now, Max. We haven't seen that for a few years. Verstappen stayed out a few laps after Piastri, so I got Piastri box end lap 19. Verstappen stopped on lap 21. So he built up a bit of a tyre deficit. Sort of offsets himself to Piastri, looking for better tyres towards the end.
What I found particularly interesting in this, when Max came in to serve his penalty, every single time you have a penalty, the resulting pit stop will be like a second slower as well.
Yeah,
Think his
because
pit stop
they
took-
just delay after 5 seconds a little bit just to make sure the penalty's
Yeah.
served. Because
And
if you
then-
don't, you get a 10-second.
I think it was a 3.3 second pit stop if you take off the 5 seconds. Do we have that written
I
down?
didn't
Surely
write
we
it.
have
I didn't.
that.
It was.
Wait.
Wasn't it 8.3 or something, his actual stop.
8.6.
8.6. So you can look at that and say, oh yeah, that's a 3.6 second stop. It won't have been. It was probably a bit more like, your 3 second 2.8. Just because the team aren't going to immediately jump on the car as soon as the 5 seconds is over. Russell was saying, consider plan B, see how far these tyres go. Which is
He
weird
always
for a
does that.
one-stop race.
But he always does that.
And he almost regretted that heavily.
Oh yeah, he did. Well, he did regret that heavily. He dropped down like a stone, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We boxed lap 21, so it's a bit before this.
Yeah, Verstappen finally put on... Yeah, and all of them went on hards. All of the front runners went on hards. Except for Norris.
There it is. That was a great move, by the way. .3, yeah. So technically, you could say 3.3 seconds stop. It's probably a bit more like 2.8.
Yeah.
Just because the team aren't going to immediately change the tyres as soon as the 5 seconds is up. Up next is, I've got written down, Alonso close shave on Bortoleto. It was Bortoleto moving under braking ahead of Fernando that nearly put Fernando in the wall.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I believe Bortoleto was handed a black and white flag for driving standards moving under braking. Finn, I'm now going over the close shave Alonso had with Bortoleto.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Bortoleto was handed a black and white flag for moving under braking, so he's driving standards. I think this is it. Oh!
That was bloody close.
That was a car's width and nothing else. Yeah, Bortoleto was given a black and white flag for driving standards after that incident. Up next
Bortoleto not seeing Alonso.
is
Yeah.
Leclerc stayed out so much longer than everybody else. I think he was.
I quickly want to mention one thing before we do that. I quite liked that Alonso said "wah," like Kimi Räikkönen always
Wah.
used to do. Wah.
That's a
Okay,
car's
we're an
width
hour
and
now.
nothing
Let's
else.
speed it up.
Yeah, we
Don't
are
you
already.
need to go to the barbers.
No, it's
I
fine.
think it's
downstairs.
I think it's a mum haircut or like
she's
mum
downstairs.
friend.
Mum special. Could you do my hair when I'm down?
No.
as well?
My mum has a hairdresser. She's downstairs.
Oh,
The hairdresser is downstairs.
Yes, she comes to my house and does mum's hair.
I'll keep that part in.
Lawson, 10-second penalty, leaving track and gaining an advantage for a similar incident to Verstappen in turn 1.
Where was that?
Lap 37. Well, no, it didn't happen on lap 37. That's when it was handed out.
There, Lawson going off track. That was right after the start. Lap 12, right? Because nothing happened under the safety car. Lawson got a 10-second penalty. How many penalty points does Lawson have on this license now?
I'm glad he's not on my team anymore.
We are checking.
Fantasy
We are
team.
checking.
He absolutely rinsed me.
He didn't get given any penalty points for
Okay.
the incident. So if I just go to Bahrain, because that's when you got more. Car 30.
I think. Can I just look up?
I believe he has 5 as it stands.
Lawson has 2? What?
2.
No, Lawson has 5 penalty points. I've just looked at the document.
Oh, Max Verstappen has racked up the most F1 penalty points since the system was introduced in 2014.
Not surprising.
No, not surprising at all.
That's interesting.
Yes, Lawson has 5 penalty points and 1 reprimand for driving.
Jesus. And it's race 5. He picked up 1 per race.
Take his license away.
At this rate, his license is gone
He's
before
like Lord Mahavir from F2. So I'm
Right.
on my last page of notes now.
Yes, we are going towards the end of the race.
Towards the end, Verstappen was
looking-
really, really closing the gap to Piastri. Sort of, your 8/10 a lap kind of closing. Lap 36, it was 4.4. What's that? That's lap 45, I think. It was 4.1. But then beyond that, it was just coming down and down and down and down to the point where he only finished 2.8 behind Piastri.
I think now we can get to the gaps Also, the TV director did not show Lawson going off viral as baby raging. Right.
First bit of silverware for Ferrari for the year.
Yes.
Fantastic stuff.
Norris managed to get up at around 1.1 seconds to Leclerc.
He finished 1 second behind Leclerc, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few
Oscar-
more laps he might have done it, but...
Oscar Piastri won after having an astonishing second stint, just clearing it off to Max Verstappen, who in the end came back. George Russell dropped down like a fucking stone. I think he ended up finishing P5.
He finished P5, about 27 seconds off Piastri.
Yeah.
20
Because of his tyre strategy, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was really concerned about a band that
His
was
tyre
opening up on his
exploding.
left shoulder.
Yeah. They were basically like, help, my tyre's about to blow up on the radio.
But then the team
Yeah.
said,
Right.
we have no tyre concerns.
Yeah, don't worry about it,
and,
George.
and then he says like, but I do, bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have with 2 laps to go. Verstappen really made up a lot of time. With 2 laps to go, Norris was there in P4, which is where he ended up.
Behind that, it was Russell, Antonelli, Hamilton, Sainz, Albon, and Hadjar completing your top 10. Following up was Alonso, Lawson, Behrman, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Doohan, and Bortoletto, with Tsunoda DNF in 19th and Gasly 20th.
Okay, who is your guys' driver of the day? Sherry, you go first.
Well, the person that I actually voted for, and I believe I stand by it even despite our previous discussions about the penalty, is Oscar Piastri. Yay! Because he drove like an absolute legend.
Right, so I did a meme vote and voted for Tsunoda.
Yep.
If I had to say who is my actual driver of the day, even though I love my boy, it's gotta be Charles Leclerc picking up Ferrari's first silverware.
Intriguing. Viro, driver of the day, please.
Lawson!
That's a meme vote. Ban him.
No, it's
Yeah,
not. It's not a meme vote. Explain.
Bloody penalty, what do you mean, driver of the
Great
bloody day?
race. No. Let's hear him out.
I'm not hearing nothing if it's
Yeah,
praise for
I-
Lawson.
Great race, ton of overtakes. Guess so.
I mean, he did
But
finish
if-
12th.
He did. I believe I gave him a 6 out of 10 in my driver ratings.
A 6?
Yeah.
That is not driver of the day.
Well, it's not my driver of the day.
What did you give, out of curiosity, what did you give Verstappen as a rating?
I think I gave like Verstappen a
1.
9 out of 10.
No.
We can actually check it.
Well,
We can-
you haven't asked me. What do you mean check?
Well, if we're gonna have this, I would say we should ask you. Like, I would have asked you right after Sherry. Max Verstappen. I gave Max Verstappen a 9 out of 10. Vido, who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day is Maximilian Verstappen.
That was expected.
Purely because
Viro just-
he really extracted everything out of that car this weekend.
He did.
And
9 out of 10 drive.
I don't
no
think
doubt.
the gap to McLaren is nearly as big as people think it is.
I don't think it is either. Viro brought something up that I wanted to talk about as well, which was Williams.
Great weekend for Williams, really.
Yeah.
Fucking
Double
amazing.
points finish. 8th and
Great
9th.
team play as well, as Viro said. I gave Carlos a 9 and Alex a 10 and Alex an 8 just because he finished behind
Yep.
Carlos.
A point I would like to make is that in his 3rd year of the championship, Oscar Piastri now leads the World Drivers' Championship.
That is true. Williams makes an awesome team play DRS train. My boy, Oscar Piastri, leads the World Drivers' Championship by, I believe, 10 points.
Yep, I believe Lando and Max are now tied, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Fantastic.
Also, Hadja got a point. Got
Another
a
points
little bit
finish,
fucked
2
in
in a
the
row.
ass. Got a little bit fucked in the ass by the Williams team DRS play.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? They're on a different team. They're not going to
Yeah,
give them DRS.
but what did they actually give Isaac Hadja? I gave him an 8 for that drive because I
Yeah.
don't think the Racing Bulls goes much further than P10 at the moment. I don't know how it was such a good card to start. Maybe it was track specific. I don't know how it fell off so hard so quick too.
It's hard to say. That the RB, well, the Toro Rosso is definitely a good race car, but it is track dependent. You know, there's going to be certain tracks where they exceed. There's going to be certain tracks where they fall behind.
Track specific viruses as well.
Yeah,
it controls greatly. And see, I this is where I'm not into the details as much as Widow and Viro, because those two are nerds. I'm a nerd.
Fuck
those
off.
two are extra nerds when it comes to
Fuck
that.
off.
I love it. No, I love it.
you're going to go hang yourself on the side of that boat again.
I'm gonna cut my head off with the scissors.
Oh shit, that's a sticker if I've ever seen one.
Wait, just fucking.
We'll sort that out later. Can I indulge and take a moment for WEC?
Go for it.
I'd like to say a personal fuck you to BMW WRT.
I love BMW. I'm sorry.
It was in the 24 hours of Daytona. They murdered a Corvette completely. And we got that famous Corvette flipping the bird out the window. During the race in Imola, they also fucked the 71 Vista Ferrari? Hang on, let me find it.
For the record, Widow took about 8 pages of notes on F1 and
20.
about 20 pages of notes on WEC.
Where the fuck is...
I didn't watch it this time around. I couldn't. I was at home.
Refresh that page now. I've uploaded the.
It was the number 21 LMGT3 Ferrari. Got ahead of Valentino Rossi in the BMW 46 to lead in class, by the way. Then they had a great battle into Variante Alta, which is, I lovingly dubbed the Charles Leclerc chicane, because that's where his championship hopes in 22 died, because he fucked it around. And then coming down into the Ravazzas, so you got Ravazza 1 and 2. They were alright through Ravazza 1. The Ferrari went a little defensive, but nothing too crazy. And then into Ravazza 2, Valentino Rossi just absolutely throws his BMW to a gap that it's closing by the time he gets there, and just completely punts the 21 off into the hedge, which then brought out a virtual safety car, then a real safety car. I believe he was he was under investigation for a while, and then he was handed a stop and go penalty. But also from the BMW camp, I believe it was a BMW. Hang on, it was the number 31, I believe. See, this is the problem, because I didn't get to colour code these notes. They're all in black. Oh yeah, the number 31 down into Ravazza 1. It was another BMW, of course. Just drives into the back of an Aston Martin, throws it into the wall backwards, and was handed a stop and go only, which was bizarre. We set a WEC record this weekend for the most hypercars to finish the race at 18.
Oh fuck! We forgot to mention that Stroll set the new record for the most Q1 exits.
He's irrelevant.
No one's
Fair.
surprised.
Well,
Irrelevant.
he is. Ferrari take a home win with the number 51 car that has Italian Jesus driving it. So we've had the Pope, we've had Jesus. We just need Mary and Joseph now.
And the Holy Spirit.
I can be the Viro's the Holy Spirit. Widow can be Joseph. Sherry is Mary.
Okay.
No, I can be
number-
Joseph.
Do I have to be Mary? Because I'm a woman.
No, okay. Widow is Mary. I'm Joseph.
The number 92,
Jesus.
the number 92 Manthey Racing Porsche recorded its first win in the series by holding off the 46. The hypercars completed 212 laps, while the LMGTs did 193, which is not the it's more than I was expecting them to do. I thought they'd be a long way behind the hypercars, but they weren't. Ferrari threw it away. They were running 1-2-4 at one point, and then they just
Surprise.
threw it all away. I'm gonna do a blog post about WEC, so I can just throw that on the website.
Heroicsintercenterworld.com. Check it out.
I'm gonna put that
Formula
clip of
Schizo.com?
the radio announcer at Donington, like plugging my website.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic, right? Should we end it there?
I think
Yeah.
we do. This
Gotta go
was
to work.
the most productive podcast I think we've had so far.
Yes, we didn't go too off tangent, did we?
No, it was
Right.
also I liked the chemistry. Right.
Good stuff.
Should we stop the recording there? I'm going to listen to it
No,
quickly.
I've got to do the outro.
Oh, right, of course.
Fucking idiot, man. I told you
I'm
this
sorry.
is not amateur
I'm so
hour.
sorry. Okay, Formula E is the best fucking racing series. Just had
Is
to get
it
that in there, sorry.
bollocks? Get BTCC in there. Oh, we'll have a special next week for the BTCC. I'm just saying. Me and Sherry.
I'll
gonna record
watch it
Me and
just
Sherry
for
are
you.
going to record it live at Donington.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it just for you.
Alrighty, so this has been episode 3 of the Formula Schizo Podcast. We have discussed the new Pope. We have also discussed Italian Jesus, the Pope in the Cars movie, Lance Stroll being shite, FIA being shite, Pope Mobile, Oscar Piastri playing games. Yeah, I'd say we're about there.
I say too. We're ready. Thank you everybody for listening, and thank you for having me.
Maybe not next time. We will see you in the next episode of the Formula Schizo Podcast.
This is the second time I've been threatened with being thrown off the podcast in 2 weeks. I'm on a good track.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night. Goodbye.
And kill yourself, says Viro.
Kill yourself.
Kill yourself. Okay.
Bye. Hello. This is a quick side note from me while I'm editing this video. I was just adding in this part where Finn says that the Pope says that gays are okay, and I found something really weird which I'm going to share. So this is what it's supposed to say.
It's pretty good. He said that gays were okay.
And then I think it was when I was dragging this picture onto the timeline. I think I must have dragged this back, and this is what you hear. I'm not mad, am I? It says Hitler.